Hello, everybody, and welcome to the G3 Party Chat podcast. This podcast doesn't have an official format as how often we're going to upload it, but for right now, we're setting it up at least once a month. I am G3 Tyrant, the boss of the whole crew. I got my boy G3 Hydration, the upload machine. Introduce yourself.
How's it going, everybody? G3 Hydration. Make sure you guys have your water.
And then I got the Immortal One, the king of trash talk, Immortal TG.
What's going on, everybody? I'm also here, ready to talk whatever it is we're gonna talk about. What are we talking about?
So I just wanted to do a quick little synopsis here. Let's get people to know us a little bit more. So I'm gonna start off with my name is Tyrant. I've been playing games for as long as I could remember. Me and Immortal TG actually are a part of the original G3 crew of like a good couple of years back, like 10 years back. And
This is back in the days where MLG was a thing, not
yeah.
esports.
Yeah, so before everybody started doing their own esports circuit and all that other stuff, we did a lot of like basement, underground tournaments back in the day in fighting games. Primarily, we were playing Guilty Gear, Melty Blood, Street Fighter, all the SNK games from King of Fighters. We even dabbled a little bit in like Samurai Showdown or stuff like that. So, we were primarily a fighting game group back in the day. Me, Lord Turian, who will be probably in the next podcast, and Immortal, we decided to make a group. And I figured what better way than to bring back the G3 brand. So yeah, that's pretty much how me at least got started with the group with Immortal. Hydration, you got anything you want to let people know about you?
Yeah, I've been gaming as well my entire life from a kid. Grew up gaming, been basically nothing but gaming my entire life. And I actually just joined G3 about 3 months ago and just been uploading on an absolute constant basis and covering a variety of games from shooting games to horror games. I think started off with we played some Resident Evil 8. We went through a gameplay of that, and then we trickled into some Destiny and some battle royales like Super Animal Royale, which was a very fun one. But my main love has been Destiny 2 for the last 4 years now, and Destiny since it started about 7 years ago. And so you probably see a lot of Destiny content hopping up. And but I do a variety of stuff. It won't just be Destiny. It won't just be horror. It'll be adventure games, puzzle games, just all around, just a big variety. Because I don't like to. I have like a gaming addiction. That Game Pass is a serious thing for me. I go through all the games.
We need a rehab.
Yeah, gone through 5 games in the last week and a half. Need more.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Immortal, you got anything for us?
You covered our whole endeavors as becoming pro gamers and whatnot in the fighting game industry, so I'm not gonna cover all that, but I do play a lot of Apex. I do have my off seasons. The furthest I've made it was Diamond Rank, so pretty thrilled about that. Then I switched over to Guilty Gear, got to the Celestial in like 3 days, so I was pretty happy with that. But I was very heavy into a game that it's a shame that it died out the way it did because I thought it was brilliant. I just believe that the developers didn't support it as good as they should have, and that is Dissidia NT. I was all over that stuff. I was a Squall main, perhaps one of the better Squall mains.
Best in NA. You heard it here first.
Yes.
I was really solid at that game. I was very solid at that game. Other than that, I just on my off time, well, not even on my off time. My main thing now is just making games. Not gonna get too much into that. That could be a story for another time. But yeah, I make games now.
Yes.
All right, dope. So Hydration, he touched on Destiny, so let's talk a little Destiny. The clan in Beyond Light was pretty busy. We were doing Deep Stone Crypt raids like almost every week, every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Since then, we haven't really been playing as often. We haven't really, as a collective, like a huge group. I mean, Immortal TG's slowly getting back into the game. But let's talk about the new season, Season of the Lost, and how we feel about it so far. So I want to start with Immortal TG since he's just kind of getting back. What do you think about this new season so far, and from what you've experienced?
All right, all right, all right. Speaking of the new season so far, I haven't played it enough to actually have a tangible opinion. Because right now I'm still doing the same stuff that I've been doing since Beyond Light. Right? I'm just doing my Gambits, my Crucibles, and my Vanguards, trying to get my light level back up so I can do Vault of Glass.
True.
I am not a D1 player, so Vault of Glass is actually new to me.
Yes.
Which is the raid we all still need to get through.
I am looking forward to doing that Vault of Glass run and experiencing it for the first time. But I don't think I can give a opinion on the season because I have not played the season the way it should be played yet. I'm just playing it as if there was no seasons at all. I'm just playing base Destiny. I'm just trying to get my light level up.
True.
Yeah.
So that's a
Classic
conversation
grind.
for you and Hydration. So you guys can go ahead with that.
Hydration, what do you think about the season so far?
I'm loving it. As a big fan of Queen Marasov, I was very happy to see her back. Been wanting to see her back for a long time. So that just right off the bat for me, we're off to a great start. But aside from just personal opinion, just gameplay perspective, I think it's off to a good start. There's a ton of loot to be had between just reprised weapons that they kind of went through, some of the old Iron Banner stuff come back, some new Iron Banner, to return them some of the old faction stuff like the new Monarchy and Dead Orbit weapons, introducing back the Trials of the Nine weapons in the
Which
Prophecy
I still
dungeon.
can't even get my pulse rifle, which is mad annoying. Actually,
But
after
they
this is
are at
done, we're
least
gonna go
back.
grind it.
Yeah, and they're at least back, and there's way more loot this season already, I think, than that we've gotten in the last few as individuals. Like and that's not to say the loot from the last seasons has been dull or small amounts. It's just they've really poured heavily on the loot this season. They just brought it on all fronts.
I think they gave us like 20 plus weapons when I think about it.
Yeah, I don't even actually know the full count, but and them going not taking away the previous season, so players that did miss out on the other seasons can go back and still get some of the weapons, I think is one of the best things that they've done, because some of the weapons from last season are absolutely fantastic, especially the Chrome Rush auto rifle is one of my favorites.
Really good. The SMG was really good for a while.
Yep.
I can't remember if there was anything else out of Season of the Chosen, like that out of that loot pool specifically that was really great. I know Tiku's generation was alright.
Yeah, the exotic didn't get as much love as some of the other stuff kind of did. It was a bit more of a niche weapon to use, but it still can be fun. And it's basically a solar kind of version of the Trinity Ghoul, in a way. So when you need to have that,
effort.
Yes, for sure. The Trinity Ghoul, you just point and shoot, and that's about it.
If you
Everything dies.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you guys. Personally, I feel Destiny does a lot of things good, but it's been a while since they did something perfect. Not saying that they don't, but it's a while since they have. And honestly, I really wanted to implement something more useful for the clans. Like,
you bring that up too, which is interesting. I thought you were going to actually bring that up earlier because, believe it or not, everybody, Immortal actually sent me a video about clan ops and reworking Gambit in a few shapes of forms. How about you just tell us about those ideas, man?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I'm a huge co-op gaming fan, and G3 Tyrant being my actual brother, I've always enjoyed playing co-op games with him and whatever. There are games that I would just buy just because he's playing them, and if it has co-op, then whatever. Call me crazy, call it ludicrous, but my favorite Resident Evil so far is Resident Evil 6. and that was because of its co-op. And the Chris Retro
So
store
many
was
memories.
amazing.
So many
But-
memories.
I digress. I feel because Warframe also had this problem, in my opinion. And so does Phantasy Star. Now that I think about it, like there's a lot of games that say you can make guilds or you can make clans, but like there's no incentive to do so other than saying all my friends are a part of one group and we have this cool little tag that we all share.
I mean,
And
a
I
lot
feel
of
like-
people might try and argue the point that, like, with Destiny, at least when you join a clan, you're entitled to getting the clan loot every week. So maybe, because remember when we first started the clan in Callus's raid and whatever, and we used to do it a lot, and then I stopped, but you guys kept doing it. I always get the engram, so I would still get
Yeah.
raid weapons without even going to do the raid. So that's the only real incentive to joining a clan now is like, if you don't play Gambit, okay, don't worry, your clan more than likely will do it, and then you'll get the engram for it.
Yeah, you
It's
can
still
always
not
count
It's
on.
true, but at the
group.
same time, the engram itself, and I know, like I don't want to break the bank with loot, but like even the clan engrams are just legendaries that you can get by yourself anyways. So
Agreed,
there's not
agreed.
really like a huge desperation to.
Well,
Again,
the raid
to-
ones, no, you would only get usually raid loot from them back when they actually did give them. I do believe they've changed that
I
a little
think
bit
that they
now.
turned that off. Yeah, I'm
Um,
not too sure.
Yeah, I think you actually have to have unlocked it, I believe, like as like a loot pool kind of idea. But
Yeah, they need to add more incentive towards it and like a reason to join clans. Like for me personally, I feel like MMOs should try and include as many people as possible. And whether people want to admit it or not, Destiny does follow an MMO formula. It is a first-person shooter, but it's based around the blueprint of an MMO.
Well, I
Mhm.
mean,
And-
they've come out and said they're an MMO first, right? So
Yeah, so I believe in my heart of hearts that if you're gonna make a game like that, it's in the name, massive multiplayer online game, right? So you should be making it massive and having as many people as possible do an event together. Now their biggest thing is 6-player raids and the other mode that they have now. I'm not sure what they're called, but they're
the new
6
six-player
players.
event that we have right now. Yeah, I know what you're
And
talking
that's a
about.
step in the right direction. It is, but Destiny has also proven that they can fit 12 players on a single map in the open world and whatnot. And I feel like they need to implement that more because there are times where, because us especially, there was a time where all of our friends, you, me, Starfire, Turian, Chief, Noob-chan, everybody was just playing, but everybody couldn't play together. So now we're all split up, even though we're all in the open world, even just to do public events and whatnot. So to get to the point here, because I feel like I'm just ranting and just expressing my grievances, I came up with this idea. I came up with plenty of ideas for different game modes, but for the open world specifically for clans, I wanted to give Hawthorne a purpose because she's supposed to be the NPC that manages our clans, right?
Yeah, she's the
Mhm.
official clan handler who created the entire idea in the first place.
So I feel like to give her more incentive, there should be a new playlist called a Clan Ops. And there you grab, let's say, 12 players. Or how many? I'm just assuming it's 12 people who can fit in the open world, right? So let's just go based on that assumption. There's 12 people who can fit in the open world. And so you load up a Clan Ops playlist. You can do a large scale, mid scale, or small scale operation. Small scale operation will be for like 6 people. Mid scale will be for 8, and large scale will be for the full 12. Right? And
okay.
you go to, let's say, Earth. You go to Earth, and you have the whole open world to just you and the 12 of you, but all fast travels are gone, and you kind of just load into one landing spot per se. Now, as you land there, the 12 of you are there, and you are tasked with doing various missions in the open world. So Hawthorne will be like, Guardian, eyes up, Guardian, we got the following invasions in these parts of the map. And then there'll be like 3 public events, but they're all timed events. So you have to know how to split up your squad to use their spares because there's no fast travel. You got to split your squad up and head to these different public events and complete them to gain territory progress. And the
You know
more
what would be
you,
cool
once you get,
about that? Sorry to interrupt you. You know what would be
Go ahead.
cool about that too? Because now that we also have these modifiers between unstoppable champions, barrier champions, and stuff like that, now you're going to want to organize your team accordingly. Maybe you have a more DPS oriented squad, and you have 2 guys that are mainly, or 3 guys that are mainly focused on breaking champions and making them weak and stuff like that, setting up healers and tanks. So I kind of like that. I like what you're going with this so far, especially out in the open world because the map is massive. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't be able to fit everybody.
Right,
Yeah.
and again, it'd be like a private server per se because it's just you and your clan in there, right? So you're not sharing it with a whole bunch
So
of
it's
other.
instant spaced.
Yeah. So
I like that
anyways,
idea.
you go do these public events, and it's not just public events. And Hawthorne will be like, Guardian, we have activity, and we need a fire team to go down in this lost sector here. Now you have to choose 3 of your best members or 3 available members to go to this lost sector and basically conquer it because only 3 people can go into a lost sector. And while they're in that lost sector fighting it, you're still out in the instance trying to take over the public event areas in the open world. If you fail to capture, your progression bar will go down. Your territory control will go down. If you have 0% control, or if you have less than whatever the achievable goal is supposed to be, you fail. And if people die in the lost sector, that's like tremendous progression lost. There'll also be stage bosses that will appear for you guys to unite and take on, whether they're like Tanix, the raid boss, or Callus, a raid. Like, there'll be raid bosses or big bosses that you haven't seen before, or even
Yeah.
story mode bosses, but they're like super jacked up because there's 12 of you now.
Yeah, I can see that, especially with the modifiers. That's easy to do.
It's kind of like an open world raid on a bigger scale. So it's not
Basically,
quite a
like,
raid
I
as
mean-
quite linear, but in
I
terms
mean, when you
of
think about like even like Fantasy Star, because they have
objectives.
the world bosses and just like 30 mans in a lobby, you just rush the one guy, right? It doesn't guarantee you're going to win either. But
And as
No.
you go, so go ahead.
still need teamwork.
but
But
you still need the teamwork.
as you go, basically, like, even if like, oh, okay, Guardian, we have a Cabal invasion coming here, Fallen invasion coming here, and you see these public event icons and you split up. As you're doing a public event, depending on how long you take, another one will land in, right? Because it's all about timing. So if it's taking you too long to do this public event and another one shows up, you're going to have to start dispersing your team because if that public event comes down and nobody deals with it, you lose world progression. So you guys have to not only act quickly, but efficiently and know how to split the team up. And when the lost sectors are needed to be done, like, Guardian, this lost sector needs to be looked at. And then if that team is taking too long in that lost sector, and all of a sudden Hawthorne needs you to go to another lost sector, now you're splitting your team thin because you have less. Now half your team is in a lost sector, while the other half is in the open world.
Yeah.
Because lost sectors are 3 people. So now you have 6 people doing a lost sector and 6 people trying to defend the open world. So now they got to stretch themselves thin.
Yeah.
And there's no fast travel, so you guys really have to be efficient with even where you position your teams on the map and coordinate.
Make sure you got that no time to explain Sparrow, everybody.
Basically, and then at the end of it all, like, that's just Earth. Like, you can do you do clan ups for every single planet. And then when you complete all the planets, like let's say you get 100% on all the planets, you get the secret area, and you basically enter the realm of the 9, and that will be the new Trials of the 9, where you face all these Trials of the 9 like enemies and
so
secret
like
bosses.
bringing Reckoning back.
I guess so. But as you do that, and once you get access to the Trials of the 9, for completing all the getting 100% control on all the world maps, you go to Trials of the 9, you can get Trials of the 9 exclusive gear and whatnot.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of.
I do
room for
like
too.
that.
I like that. That's kind of dope, especially. Again, like, it gives us more incentive to play the game outside of just doing, okay, make sure you do your 3 Vanguard strikes, you do your 2 Nightfalls, make sure you beat the record, and then you just did it, and then you do your Gambits, and then you do your Crucible, and you call it a day.
Yeah,
know
you
what I'm
basically
saying?
do your pinnacle grind for the week and you're done.
And
Yeah,
it,
aside
it,
from the
it
story.
encourages people to play the game because now it's not just like if you do it in a weekend, you do it in a weekend. But like I said before, you're trying to get 100% control of every map in Clan Ops. So you have to go on every single planet with your team, and and in order to get to Trials of the 9, you have to be in a clan. So this adds something for people to do as a clan, to organize as a clan, and it's not just like limited to like big clans. Like I said before, you can do small scale operations as well with 6 people. If your clan is just 6 people, you guys still have the chance. And of course, the difficulty will scale to the number of people you bring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
I,
like
I
that
like the
idea, man. I think
idea.
it's dope.
I like the idea of introducing more things to do as a clan. I agree that it's just being in the clan is just kind of there as a in name thing, and it's just a slightly easier way of grouping up together or having people that are always ready to do stuff. But there's no real incentive, like you said, or just
There's no dire
there's
need
no
to
like
do it.
yeah, like there's no
And it's
actual
an MMO.
purpose
Like it's
essentially.
supposed to cater to like large scale gameplay, big organized gameplay. You and the boys are like putting aside a weekend to like get on there and grind. And it'll also help new players get into the game because they have 11 other people who can carry them, explain to them, and they can have the open world to themselves just to explore and understand better.
Yeah.
So
And
I feel like
there
the
was
clan ops
that
thing would be a... Go ahead.
there was that one glitch that we had a couple seasons ago where
Oh, with the
people were
strikes?
able to get 12 people into strikes and into missions before. So clearly
It's a
does
demand.
work. I mean, it obviously you have to adjust the scaling because 12 men and a activity designed for 3 is going to be extremely easy.
Yeah.
But if they do scale it to the amount of people there, then that could definitely be something because the Destiny worlds are so big, and you like why not take more use of that?
That's what I'm
That's
saying,
what I'm
man. Like,
saying.
there's a
Like
lot of room
it's in
for it.
huge demand. People want to be able to do this. That's why they're trying to find ways to do it. And instead of
Especially
punishing
now.
people and taking it away from them, you should
Yeah.
just find a way to implement it. And that's why I'm saying the clan ops would be a perfect way to implement that. Go ahead.
Especially now
Yeah.
with Witch Queen coming and the Dark Guardians, those Hive Guardians. Like,
Mm.
it's that would be really dope because it's literally like a war between Dark versus Light, Savathun
Yeah.
versus the Vanguard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be super dope.
It would be.
But let's talk about something else here. You know what? I kind of wanted to talk about Apex, and Seer, the new character. At first, he seemed like a little broken. Immortal, did you feel the same way when he came out?
I still believe Bloodhound was the better character, to be honest, but I can understand why Seer, because Seer was basically a guy who had mods. Like, I can see your health, I can see you through walls, I can stop you from healing and do damage. Like, I did, like, the problem with his tactical is it did too many things.
Yeah,
It did
definitely.
way too many things. And that was the problem. It hurts you, it blinds you, it stops your healing action, it reveals you, it reveals your health. It did too much, way too much. But I understand why, because Apex, the developers, even with the bow check, the bow and arrow gun and everything like that, they always want to release new things broken because it's easier to fix later. According like that's
I
just how
always,
they look at it.
I always thought they did it because like they wanted to build this incentive for people to spend money. I want you to buy my character, so we're gonna make him as busted as humanly possible. And
They
then
just
once
want
you
him to
buy
be
him, we
played
tone him
because
down.
they don't want to release a new character and he's not being used. So
That
they
makes
always
sense,
release
yeah.
their
Of course.
characters pretty strong, and then people get to use them, test them out, and whatever, and then people can point out the problems that they have with them, and then they can just fix accordingly.
I'm terrible with Seer. I've tried. I can't use the character at all. I like my good old boy Fusey. And like Fuse after the buff is amazing. I love that character. I even now like when we're trying to like third party somebody, I'll just throw a knuckle cluster. Even if we don't even want to engage them, I'll throw knuckle clusters at them just so I can get my boost for my Evo shield. And I just walk
But
around and ignore people.
which is like a good idea, but I also feel they need to have an off season Apex. Like they need to not release a new character, and they need to focus on the characters that need their attention. Like
Yeah, because that's because Fuse
Watson,
fell underneath the cracks for a while.
Mirage. Like
Is
there
that
are
what's been happening?
characters.
The new character gets a lot of love, and then the ones that have been out for kind of a while kind of get lost a little bit.
Especially
Basically,
Mirage.
there's
'Cause
been,
Mirage
there have been
hasn't
people
top
asking
tier
for certain
forever.
buffs for their characters, and they want to do it while releasing new characters, which I guess sure, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of characters need focusing on. Mirage, Bangalore, Because with a digi threat, Bangalore just becomes useless, or not useless, but she becomes tremendously weak because her smoke is supposed to create this cover for you. But if you have a digi threat, now all of a sudden your smoke is hurting your teammates instead of your enemies.
You know, I actually wanted to run this idea by you before too. Now that I'm remembering it, because in Titanfall 2, the Titans were allowed to emit like an electronic smoke. So if you go into the smoke, you know how it just when Crypto uses his camera ult, and it disrupts everybody.
Yeah.
So without it breaking shields or whatever, maybe it does like small dot damage, kind of like Caustic's gas. I was thinking that instead of just having the smoke just being there to just blind you, but once I have a digi threat, I can still push you inside the smoke. Why don't you just create something where if they walk into the smoke, it causes that screen shake and the disruption effect, and maybe it does a little bit of damage. Nothing like, again, nothing crazy like Caustic's gas damage, because in all honesty, if you give Bangalore the same amount of damage as Caustic, no one's gonna play Caustic anymore. So I don't know. Like, what do you think about that one?
I think the smoke should be used like Fixer from Rogue Company.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
instead of the reveal, it should be a disrupting smoke. So like regardless of what you do, you like even if Bloodhound does a scan in the smoke, he won't pick up anything. Because the smoke is supposed to be for cover.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Yep.
even if you do a Bloodhound scan, because I know if you fly the drone in there, the drone won't reveal anybody. Because
Yeah.
the smoke is sheltering them. So I feel like it needs to be more consistent across all the scanning characters. Like even if Seer throws his moths in there, his little moth drones,
Yeah.
if you're in that smoke, it won't pick you up. Like it gives people a lot more incentive to pick Bangalore and her smoke a lot more use. Because people already use it to blind snipers so that they can move to close a gap or to get away, which is what smoke grenades are meant to be used for.
Yeah.
But when you have people with superpowers or abilities that can literally give them wall hacks and whatnot, the smoke needs more. In that world, I don't believe, realistically speaking, the smoke would be designed just to block out vision, but not tech.
It just needs a lot more like defensive abilities or attributes added to it outside of just you can't see.
Basically, like it's just you can't. Like, you really can't see is basically what I'm saying. Like you really cannot see. Even if you use a Bloodhound scan, you can't see past the smoke. You can't see inside the smoke. You can see anything outside of it, but you can't see what's in it. If you have a digi threat, it won't pick up on anything in the smoke. Like the smoke is supposed to be this cloud of defense, right? But at the same time, it's not like it's overpowered because as much as you're blind, the other team that's using it is also blind. It's not like they get an X-ray scan of you or anything like that. Everybody is blind. It's supposed to create this safety net.
Kind of like a disruption.
So Bangalore needs to be looked at. Who else did I mention? Loba.
Mirage.
She needs to be able to loot player banners with her black market.
That'd be hefty. Yeah, I think that's a good. I mean, that would make it safe on like certain engagements, especially if you're losing or getting third partied, and she already has her black market out and her teammates go down. Especially like when you play with randoms, it gets mad annoying that they hot drop early or they walk off and go do their own thing and they end up getting themselves killed. At least Loba is then there to mitigate some of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, my teammates are probably gonna die, or this is a bad engagement. I just set up my black market and grab their tags quick and just bounce. Because I mean, she gets 2 slots to grab something.
Exactly. She can grab the black market stuff and just make a run for it afterwards. Because she has to put her black market down, so it's gonna make that big pulsing electric wave, so people will know. Like, hey, we just killed this Loba and a black market's coming down, she's gonna loot the banners and the pulse came from here, so let's go get her. So it's not like, oh, how do we stop it? You just look for the black market. Now if it's already like put down, then that's tough. But
Yeah.
Tough.
she needs to be able to do that. I also think if you're not gonna allow that to happen, I think it should, but if you're not gonna allow it to happen, I also believe that replicators should be allowed to replicate player banners. at a very high cost. Because there are some people who die to a third party, fourth party, whatever the case may be, or they land and they die. And I get it, it's a battle royale, but it's also extremely frustrating at times. And it's just something that I think they should test, like putting player banners in the replicator at a very high cost. So when you buy their banners, you can take it to a respawn beacon and respawn your teammates instead of just playing Rat Legends for 30 minutes now because it's just you and you gotta hide and pick corners until a Bloodhound decides he wants to find you.
Well, Warzone has it, right? So it's not impossible because Warzone allows you to fully buy back your dead teammates. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's a
even
system we've
outside of
seen
just
before.
having the beacons, so the beacons is like a more free but high risk type thing because those beacons are in set positions. And even if you have the mobile beacon, you still need to pick up your teammates' banners. So, again, like with replicators always dropping, even by the final roundish, maybe the second final round of the ring closing, I've seen replicators drop. So you might as well give the person the ability to just go around the map, farm as many chests as possible, farm as many of those materials.
Yeah, it gives a solo player an objective to do instead of just
Yeah.
now hiding and everyone spectating him playing Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying like I don't see what's so wrong with doing that.
So I think they should be able to do that because again, you just get the banner, you don't get the revive. You still have to go find a respawn beacon and revive them.
Yeah, it's not an instant thing. You
So
still have
it's
to put
not
work
it's
in,
not
but
instant.
it's not a
You
lost
still
cause
have to
either.
go and find a place to revive them now. So they're still like it's not busted stupid or anything like that. I
It
don't
sounds
feel.
fair.
And it just gives people more time to play because it's like people want to play, right? Nobody wants to just
Yeah.
land, die immediately, and now I'm stuck watching this guy play Metal Gear for 30 minutes.
No, I
And Metal
feel
Gear
it.
is an awesome
Makes
game,
sense.
by the way. Before somebody says what do I have against Metal Gear,
I
Metal
love
Gear is an
Metal Gear.
amazing
It's my
game,
most
but
favorite game in the world.
it's not for Apex.
So
But even Mirage, like I feel like he also needs a look at. And I'm gonna make this the last point I touch on because I know you're ready to move on.
yeah.
But-
yeah, go do your thing.
Mirage as well, because Vanilla Mirage was good and bad. What was good was his ult made him invisible, kind of, and it gave him speed. But what was bad about it was he couldn't shoot and he couldn't cancel the ult, so you kind of just stand there and wait.
Yeah.
But I feel with his decoys that he should actually get 2 charges of a decoy, like how Fuse and Bangalore have 2 charges of their tactical. Because just 1 charge of a decoy, it can be enough at times, but it's extremely niche, especially when you're pinned down and you don't know what you can do, what plays you can make. Because Mirage is not a team player, and when it comes down to it, Mirage doesn't really offer anything to the team. So that's why I feel a lot of people don't pick him, because synergy-wise, he doesn't synergize with anyone. He's good at reviving because he goes invisible, but you can also play with that invisibility. Like, if somebody kills his decoy, he should be able to get 2-second invisibility so he can reposition or creep up on any. Because at the end of the day, he's an assault character. He's supposed to be one of your main DPSs. So if you shoot his decoy and he goes invis for a second, 2 seconds, or whatever, he can immediately reposition, flank. He can offer more to the team now, and enemies will be a lot more like, is this a decoy? Is this not a decoy? Kind of a thing, because it will give Mirage that invisibility. And so when he uses his ult and people are just spraying and praying all his decoys, his invisibility will last long enough for him to not only reposition, but to get the drop and first shot on a lot of enemies, and he can be a lot more useful that way. Now, I don't know if the invisibility will be, like, extremely broken, like, oh my god, he goes invisible, but at the same time, we have a character who goes intangible in Wraith, who can literally just dive in on you, shoot you, go intangible, can't take damage, and get back to where she needs to get back to.
But you see,
So
that's
I
why
don't-
my other thing is like with some of the assault characters in general, like the class of the assault characters, I don't feel like they have enough offensive ability. Like you look at Fuse, he has all
Fuse,
the
that's what I
tools
was
to
gonna say. I think
engage,
Fuse is-
disengage. And
Yeah,
then you
Fuse
have
seems like
guys
he's the only assault character who has direct damage to the enemy.
Yeah, and I never really fully understood why that was, because I mean, when you look at again Caustic and Gibraltar, they have more offensive ability than most of like the assault class in itself, and I never really followed that train of thought. Every assault character needs to have something that impacts a fight, like
A fight.
directly. You have Revenant with his silences, that makes sense. You have Fuse with his grenade, his cluster bombs, that makes sense. You have even Wraith. Like, I don't even consider Wraith so much an assault class, more of like
I'd say she's a support.
a support because she's able to
I
help
would
with
say she's support.
rotations. She disappears and can retreat, pick up people's banners safely, whatever the case may be, right? But she doesn't
And
have
to
a
everybody
kit
who
that
will say, you
that's
know,
offensive.
Wraith is one of the most picked characters and she's one of the most aggressive. No. Wraith the character isn't that way. The player is.
Yeah, is definitely the person that
Okay,
plays
the
it.
player is that aggressive person. Wraith, like, at her base toolkit, she doesn't do much to entice a fight. She gets you out of it, she gets herself out of it, but she's an assault character. She should be wanting to pick these battles, and her ability should give her an advantage in a battle. She's an assault character.
Yeah.
The same thing with Mirage's decoys. They're used to trick opponents, and yeah, it can allow you to get the drop on people, but a lot of people's main use for the decoys is to get away from something.
Yeah.
And Mirage is an assault character. He shouldn't be trying to get away. He should be the guy
he's
that
not-
turns, okay,
he's
we're
not
going to
an escape
initiate.
artist at all. He should be able to initiate the fight all the time. And I mean, again, like you have characters like Gibraltar, who's a tank. He's supposed to be more. He takes damage.
If something goes wrong,
He's
it's a good
there.
thing we have this guy here.
But it's just Gibraltar is just a jack of all trades, man. He does everything in the game. You want him to snipe? Cool. He's got his little barrier shield
Gun
in
shield.
front of him. You want to play aggressive? Okay. Just toss my missile ult and initiate. You want to play in between? You want to play support? Okay. Throw a dome. I have the fastest revive time next to Lifeline, and people in my dome heal faster. Like, this guy does everything. So I never really understood that whole concept with that character. I thought it was dumb. But let's wrap this up. We're going a little bit long.
Okay.
Gamescom just happened. We saw a whole bunch of announced games and trailers and whatnot. Anything we're looking forward to?
Yeah. I myself, I've never actually gotten into Battlefield, so I am looking forward to the new Battlefield. It actually looks quite fun. And I was a big fan of the first Dying Light, so I'm interested to see how Dying Light 2 performs. And I'm really hoping the co-op is good, because I
If it's
remember
anything
the
better-
first one
if
had
it's anything
some
like the
issues.
Ascent, I'm not playing it. 'Cause that co-op
Yeah.
progression is the worst.
Yeah, the last thing you want is a game where it's like, hey, come play with your friends. Oh, by the way, progression only counts for one of you. Ah,
Most annoying thing ever. What about you, Immortal? Anything you're looking forward to?
At this moment, KOF 15.
Yeah, KOF 15 looks promising.
KOF
Looks like a nice
15,
fighting
it
game.
looks really good. Like, there's one thing I have to give fighting games. Like, they're in a constant state of always wanting to step up, because I believe they take themselves seriously, and they should.
Yeah.
And with that, they're always trying to just aesthetically, not just aesthetically look nice, but play nice and always be this revolutionizing thing. I understand that there are some games that want to like be like completely friendly, everybody can play, but at the same time, I feel like competitive games should also remember that they're competitive games, and if people want to be good at the game, they have to put in the work. That's my only gripe with fighting games in this generation. Like they're making it very, very extremely easy. And again, I get it. You want people to play, but at the same time, if you want it to be competitive, the people who want to play will learn how to play.
And please understand when we say this, we come from Guilty Gear Accent Core, Guilty Gear Reload. Like, these were the most technical and hardest of games to play, and we put in the time and the effort. To only see you guys now playing Exard and Strife, and we're like
Auto
come on,
combos.
man,
That was
really?
not a thing, bro. There was no such thing. Auto combos?
it's no. It's
You
no
press one
slight,
button and a
but
combo comes out? I don't
yeah,
know.
That's
That-
just dumb. Never will agree with it at all. And tech
But-
rolling after I knock you on the floor, like that's so annoying.
But like I said, I get it. They want everybody to play, so it's business at the end of the day. But KOF 15, it does look good. It looks like they're really pushing it. The only thing I wish KOF 15 included was the ratio system from CVS2. I
This
feel like
ratio
the way
system, I thought that was really good.
I was supposed to say, I feel like the way KOF plays, because it's a team-based game, whatever, like, I feel like they can still implement that system even without the Capcom characters.
For sure, yeah. I don't see why they
So
just didn't do it. It makes more
that's the
sense
only
in
thing
their
I
games
think
than
that
any
game
other
is
game.
missing.
Mhm.
Other than that, the animations look good. The voice acting is great. The characters seem very interesting, especially the new characters. The gameplay looks classic KOF, just with more bedazzle, which everybody could always use.
Solid bedazzlement.
And yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to. KOF 15, because I am a fighter at heart. Of course, the default answer for anybody should be Halo Infinite, but I'm trying to avoid
I was gonna say Halo Infinite. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm
pop
trying
back
to
in and
avoid
mention that.
the obvious. Like, Halo
Yeah.
Infinite is obviously going to be the game.
Yeah, it's the one game we're all kind of sitting here waiting for. News on that. Stay tuned on G3 Nexus for that. There's a lot of internal talk of what we're going to do with that, but definitely Halo is what I'm waiting for. I'm sure.
One
I
more
don't
thing
need to
I
explain
forgot.
why. What's up?
Of course. I did forget to mention the obvious. The Witch Queen, obviously.
Oh my gosh, this guy. Oh,
The
This
Witch
guy?
Queen. It's not till
just got out of that
February. I
topic.
know, it's not till February. But, I mean, come on. Gotta survive the truth.
Truth is a funny thing, is it not?
It is indeed.
Well, we've been G3 Nexus. Thank y'all for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode next month. Other than that, stay hydrated.
Yes.
And we leave you with that. Peace.
Take it easy, everybody.